People might ask me, oh, how do you deal with comments from people like after you've shaved it and that? And I always say, tell them my hair was falling out. I felt like shit about it. I didn't want to feel like that anymore, so I shaved it off, right? And this is me now. I'm going to be bold.
There is no answer to that. Yeah.
And no one's going to be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And you're like, ha, 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 what? Do you think that having had the shaved head for a long time and really just coming to terms with it, being able to accept it, helped you give you that confidence to then really just go be all out with the hair system? What is it that gives you that confidence?
I'm not going to lie. Like, when I had a shaved head, I had some hot girlfriends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
before you did it, you thought, look, I'll try it, see what it's like. I guess you probably thought it's just a wig. Like, can I really wear a wig?
See, this is the thing. Going back, if you like, I've spent sort of quite a few years, looking at different options, and then you're on YouTube or whatever you look on, and you see these hair systems, and it just doesn't quite sit right.
There's definitely two very different types of people, with the hair loss.
100%, yeah.
There's those who are already got the idea that, you know what, maybe I just have to accept this. And on the other side, there's guys who will just do anything to not accept it. Like, this can't be happening to me.
Yeah.
There has to be a way to like get my hair back. And we both know there just isn't. There isn't that magical cure.
No.
Right? There's definitely... The thing is, it's like I say, there's different ways to accept it, but we've had to accept it in the same way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has to accept when that first strand goes. When you're in the under the light and you're like, why can I see my scalp? Or the pictures. When someone snaps a picture.
Yeah.
We both know that there's only one way that's going.
And I think that stage is probably the worst.
Yeah.
Because you're forever looking. You're forever looking at how is this going to get better? Like, what I mean? And it doesn't.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You're constantly looking at her going like, oh, is it me? Is it me? Like, and it's just going further.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I mean? And that process is just going further and further and you're hanging on, and you're getting worked up about the fact it's coming.
Hang on a minute. Like, this is actually the Baldcafe podcast.
Insane.
Sweet. How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the Baldcafe podcast. This is a very special episode. It's none other than Mr. Paul Bowen.
How you doing, Harry?
I'm doing really well, man. This is a pleasure. And I said to you before off camera, but I have to acknowledge the fact that this is happening. Because not only did I say it on the last podcast, right, on a recent podcast, but I said months and months ago, I'm going to go back to England and I'm going to get Paul on the podcast. And here you are. It's just a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us.
I mean, where do we start? In your Instagram bio, it says the Lad Bible Wig Guy.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, there's loads more to you than that, and we're going to get into all of that stuff. But the Lad Bible Wig Guy, some of the people out there might remember.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that now?
It's about 2. I think it's
2 years.
It's a good 2 years ago now. So yeah, the dust has well and truly settled. But
yeah.
I still I just get called that guy. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, I'm that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Does that happen a lot? Like, people recognize you?
To be fair, obviously, as your one-hit wonder goes, do you know what I mean? It's gradually, I get away with it more, but I still do get, people have this thing where they remember me, but they're not too sure where from, and I just get like, I
know you from
and then I just like, I'm Crime Watch.
Yeah, I've seen you before. You're like, yeah, that's me. So listen, that moment, right? It was a big moment. It went viral all over Facebook. It was a Snapchat story, wasn't it?
Yeah. So as I spoke to you before, like, I used to love Snapchat. I used to be on it all the time, and I used to do sort of. Again, you don't. If you go back a few years, you didn't get people talking to the camera, and I think people like that. Like, people, you see your friends, they don't talk to the camera, and obviously I used to take people on my journeys and like, how tell them stories, and he just used to get a lot of laughs about it.
So that was before you did the hair thing?
Before I even did the hair thing, I was crazy about it.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the wig on the actual like day of getting my hair system, like, I was like, you know what? At the time, I was like thinking, if this hair system is absolutely shit, all right, I'm going to just nail it as absolutely shit. Then no one gets it done.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to go completely the other way.
Yeah.
And the fact that obviously for me, it's worked out really good.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
And it does look good. I'm here now and it really does look good.
And I think you can see the joy in my face. And
Yeah.
I think that's what people really sort of like grabbed onto was the sort of miraculous, like, funny me to like, this looks really good. Yeah. So
no, the moment for me, and I remember I saw that before I even knew my hair was falling out. I remember that, right? So I didn't know anything about hair systems. I didn't know anything about going bald or anything. And the bit that really drew me in was the bit where you were like buying the hair product, the products. You were like, I need these now for my new hair. And you said to the woman on the till, you were like, I've like for my new hair. She probably had no idea what you were on about.
Had, like, she was just like, again, she was like in her 40s or something. And she was like,
like just
new hair. Like, didn't quite get it at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, were you expecting that to, like, how did it get picked up? Like by Lab Bible, or how did it get that big?
It was probably about a month or 2 months after. And it was a really surreal day, actually.
Yeah.
Because I used to post it on my personal Facebook. And like it was just getting shared and shared and shared. I was like, wow, I think it reached like 800 views on a personal Facebook. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And it was on the day of, I went actually onto BBC Breakfast about butter pies because about my pie business.
Yeah.
And I'd literally just finished the interview on BBC News, got my phone, and there was a message from Lab Bible like, hi, can we share this?
Yeah.
And then like within like a couple of hours, I was like, yeah, sure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And literally within a couple of hours, boom. Like my phone was just going all day.
It was crazy, and it really did go viral, like proper viral.
Yeah.
And so how did it change after that? When you got the system, because I assumed that the company that did the hair system for you approached you and said, look, we need someone to do the hair system and share it online. But it wasn't that at all.
No, it wasn't the case. So before the time, obviously, I went and had my consultation like you would do it normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a nice-ish guy. They actually because I met the owner. His business has grown a lot, so you won't probably meet the owner now. But I met the owner. He seemed a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? And I posted it. I didn't even tag the people who'd done it.
Yeah.
But obviously, I got a hell of a lot of messages saying like, where do you get this?
Yeah.
And then again, I had a chat with the guy at the hair loss clinics.
Yeah.
And they came to me and be like, look, Paul, you've put a lot of business our way. Do you want to kind of just tell them where you're getting it? And sort of like a hand-in-hand promotion. So obviously, you know, I'm not a hard sell person, but I'm giving them the option of where to go because I don't do hair systems. I make pies, but obviously that's where they want to
know the and people recognize your face from that.
Yes,
you know, so it works both ways. So you got the hair system done, and you mentioned that you weren't expecting it to be that good. Like before you did it, you thought, look, I'll try it, see what it's like. I guess you probably thought it's just a wig. Like, can I really wear a wig?
See, this is the thing. You know, going back, if you like, I've spent sort of quite a few years, you know, looking at different options, and then you're on YouTube or whatever you look on, and you see these hair systems.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't quite sit right. You kind of feel like, you know, you're as a guy, maybe, I don't know, or sometimes I'm thinking like, what's the negatives like?
Yeah.
You know, is it going to look like, it looks all right on him, but will it look terrible on me? Yeah. And I was thinking, you know, is it a con? Is it Photoshop?
Yeah.
I didn't know, and again, there wasn't many people being blasé about it.
Yeah, just
like it's a hidden secret. Like, don't tell anyone you've got a hair system. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, fuck it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And literally, I was like, I couldn't believe how good it was because I was half expecting a really funny video at my expense of how terrible it looked.
And then a couple of days later, you just rip it off.
Yeah, rip it off, and you see it, you know, blowing down the street or whatever.
Yeah. No, and I suppose, like you mentioned there before, I think that's what really like drew people in to you and your story was just how pleased you were with it.
Yeah.
You literally couldn't believe it. You were like, wow.
Yeah, well,
and I remember you see you before there when she's like putting it on, you're thinking like, oh, all right then, like, you know, let's see how this goes.
I must admit, when it first goes on,
the
first thing that hits you is the weight.
Yeah.
It's a massive weight on your head, and then from there you're thinking like, is this a dead cat on my head?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not till she starts cutting it in till you start thinking, oh,
it starts coming, like you start to see how it's actually going to look,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're better off being blindfolded at first.
Yeah.
You first got, and then just ta-da!
And then you've got it, yeah. And so, obviously, that went viral, and then you've continued, I suppose, to, on Instagram and people like that. I expect you get a lot of messages about it.
A lot. So, I think within the Lad Bible, in the first hour, I'd had over 1,000 messages.
Wow.
Just like, and that's what meant my phone was literally just going.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen something crazy in my life, but it goes from people that are just like, "Hey mate, what's this?" to people telling me a full length story of what they're feeling, what they want. You know what I mean? And I was like,
"How do I deal with this?
How would I deal with it?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was, I actually got help at the time, and a few people would have got a copied and paste message because I just couldn't
deal with the amount of people.
I just couldn't deal with it. Obviously, the people were asking very similar questions, which is like, how much, which is the first question.
Yeah.
And then a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And then I would just like, they would get a copy and paste. People that maybe put a personal message in, or I kind of felt like I need to connect with this person because
they're struggling more.
They're struggling, and I can see myself in them.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, and that's where I'd go from.
Yeah. So, I guess people, like you mentioned, they're asking the same sort of questions. It's probably similar to the sort of questions that I get as well. And that's actually why I wrote the ebook, because a lot of people were like, what are just asking for advice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm struggling with a hair loss. Like, what's your advice, or how can you help me? So that's why I thought, okay, I've got to put a little guide together.
Again,
here.
like I really need to do myself what can you do? What can't you do? How do you look after it? How much is it?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, and I just need to do maybe 5 videos. But obviously now this is that, and
at least to get them started, and then when they come back with the more personal messages. But I'm sure you can appreciate as well. It's tough, I think that's why I especially wanted to have you on here, even though, we push a different sort of way of dealing with it. It's still the same concept in the sense that, look, you can spend so much time, and I know you did, like when we get onto that, so much time just letting this hair loss thing just consume you, get you down. You spend all your time, how am I going to deal with this? And I think, as long as people like us can put a lot of good, correct information out there and just push, in general, positivity is what we push,
for sure.
Acceptance, being all out with it, positive with it. And I think that's all you can do. That at the end of the day, that's the only way you can deal with this hair loss stuff.
Yeah, it is whatever suits. Again, because obviously from my experience, I would push the hair system because it's been a phenomenal journey. You would push your
head. Yeah.
I've got a friend as well that's like he's like shaved head, big guy. He's like, fucking no chance I'd wear one of them. Do you know what I mean? And he's the original guy that shaved my head in the first place. Yeah. He was like, come on, you know what I mean? And that's what. And again, there's people say to me like, will you ever take it off? And I would. I generally would. And sometimes there are so many advantages with not having no hair at all. You get out of the shower, boom. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's not like, for me, it's you know what I mean? I need the hair. I don't need the hair system. It just makes me feel better. Do you know what I mean? As a person, and that's what works for me.
Yeah. And the thing is, like I mentioned there about pushing the positivity, is even the first moment when you did it, you were there Snapchatting it, sharing it with everyone.
Yeah.
We actually had another guy talking about his hair system on the podcast just recently, and he did a similar thing. He's like, I'm not hiding behind this. Even when I might redo it, because he was doing it himself, like, the maintenance of it. And he was like, I'll ring my friends, and I'll share it. And so everyone knows that it's not my real hair.
Yeah.
And I think that going in with that attitude allows you that sort of comfort with it. It's all out. It's not a secret.
No.
I think that allows you to enjoy it a whole lot more.
See, again, like a lot of people, I said to you at the start, it was very, in the hair system world, it was very much a do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
new thing. Keep it under wraps. Don't tell anyone. And I still get some people that won't they want what I've got, but don't want to pass through how do I go in from having no hair one day to a full head of hair the next day?
Yeah.
And how am I going to get that across to people without being embarrassed?
What do you usually say to those people?
So I personally say, obviously, the powers of social media now and Facebook is I'm literally like, just do a post. As soon as you've got it done, boom, new me.
And
watch the positivity, because most of the time, you know what I mean, if you go somewhere half decent, it looks good. Most of the time, you'll look good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It will look quite good and quite realistic. So, for most people as well, I think if you saw a family member that had gone and got it done, you're not inclined to be going, "Why have you got a wig on? What are you doing that for?" It's mainly like, "Wow, you look really happy." Do you know what I mean?
Because you're proud of it, right?
Yeah.
You're proud of it. It's no shame.
There's no shame.
You're 100% like, what's the word I'm looking for? Your decision. You're 100% happy with the decision to do it. So why not get out there and show it off?
That's what I mean. Just
no one can be
straight away. Like, my advice is straight away, get it out there first. Yeah. You will. There will be some people. Yeah. There will be some jokes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I'd say 90% of your friends and your family will understand what you've been going through anyway. Yeah. If hair loss has been affecting you, and you've been, what do I do? They'll be sort of like proud that you've gone and done something.
Yeah.
And like I say, there is the other 10% that will.
But the thing is, with the jokes though, if you have gone in with that attitude of, like, this is me, like, what of it? Those jokes, they don't make you feel like, what is it? But if you haven't gone in like that, then those jokes, they'll hurt. They'll hit you where it hurts.
That's what I mean. So, for me, sometimes, people would say, "Shut up, you slaphead."
Yeah.
And that would hurt me.
Yeah.
Whereas when they say, "Oh, you've got a wig on," like, and I'll like, "Yeah, but it looks better than your hair, and yours real," like, do you know what I mean? And you've got to go in there hard back.
Yeah.
And I think that the thing that people they can take the mick, but it does look good. Yeah. So it's hard to, it's like,
and it's no shame. You're not ashamed of it.
No, it's like telling a girl, like, "You've got makeup on."
Yeah.
Like, you have, but it does look quite good. So
yeah, no, I'm all for the thing. I say similar things to other people. I've got a blog post about it, and it's in the ebook. It's, how people might ask me, "Oh, how do you deal with comments from people like after you've shaved it and that?" And I always say, tell them, my hair was falling out. I felt like shit about it. I didn't want to feel like that anymore, so I shaved it off, right? And this is me now. I'm going to be bold.
There is no answer to that. Yeah.
And no one's going to be like, "Oh, ha, ha, ha," and you're like, "Ha, ha, ha, what?" Like, this is what, Yeah. And it's end of conversation. And you can then, if you have that sort of attitude with it, you can also just move completely past it. Yeah. And that's how you say, "Done." Like, this is the new me, like you said, the new me, right? And let's just go for it. Let's do life now, I'm not about hiding from it or feeling ashamed about this hair anymore. Like, this is the new me. Let's go back. Let's go to that place with you then. So, like, when your hair, you're 30 now, right?
Yes, yeah.
So when did this start falling out?
Early.
Right.
Real early. It was actually, from school, like, there was always like the widow's peak, where it just goes at the side and I hide it.
Yeah.
And then up to the age of 22 was where it really started to fade and look thin. I think because I've got naturally blonde hair, it's really fine anyway. Yeah. So it looked worse than what it.
Like, you could see the scalp and
you
stuff.
can see the scalp. Yeah. You're in a nightclub and you're trying to hide from the light.
Like, you feel like you're on display.
Like, do you know what I mean? Getting pictures like this because you don't want to put your head down.
Yeah.
And again, it was literally like my 22nd birthday. Literally my birthday night. My good friend Ryan, who has been best man for, he's again shaved head, big guy, and he was like, "Come on, let's do it."
Yeah.
And to be fair, at the time I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like you've said before, it's a weight lifted because you go around and you're hiding and you're trying all these miracle cures to sort of, mask what's inevitable in my eyes. Coping, yeah. And you shave it off, and then you know what? Like you said, you're like, bang, it's done now.
Yeah.
I'm done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was only through, I'd say I went a good while not being too bothered. And I think as a younger lad, I was into my racing and stuff like that. I wasn't really too arsed at the time. But then I think in myself, I then, when you start to go out and stuff, like with girls and not getting the
attention
getting, do you know what I mean? And Tinder and stuff like that, because it's as shallow as it is, isn't it? It's based on a picture, and then I started questioning why.
Right.
And then obviously, and then that was years and years and years. And then I actually got the hair system when I was 28.
Wow, so you actually rocked the shaved hair for a long, long time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I think people think I'm maybe not ashamed of it, or anything, but like if you go back under my Instagram, all my pictures are still there. You can still see them. You know what I mean? I still don't think I look bad.
No.
And a lot of people say, you don't look bad. Like my girlfriend I'm with now, she's like, I wouldn't mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think people don't mind.
Yeah.
But for me, I just had that, getting ready, sort of just looking in the mirror and just not being 100% within myself and just be like, and again, I always try and you try and improve yourself, and I just think what would improve me, and for me at the time it was hair.
So where did this come from, the idea to get this hair system? Like, how did this, even though you shaved your head, were you still sort of having one eye on, I don't know, cures coming out?
So
maybe from the previous Google search history, you were getting spammed constantly.
So, it was always in the back of my mind. So every now and again, I would be like, hair transplants, hair fixing, miracle cures, thinking like, you're going to put onions and
garlic and
garlic
oil,
on yourself. And it's your automatically going to wake up with a full head of hair. I've done it all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till really, if you go on the first date episode, this story is full on true. So I was out at town. There was a nice looking girl. We was laughing, we was joking, and I'm thinking this is going somewhere. Do you want a drink? Yeah, get a drink.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I left. It wasn't like I went in like you're fit. Give me your number. It was a good 20 minutes.
Some work in.
There was some good grafting there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till the very end I was like, "Can I get your number then?" And she just straight away, "I don't date bald people."
Wow.
And I wasn't even drinking at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's rare I drink, and it was like, oh, do you know what I mean? And I remember going to bed the next night, like not even sleeping.
Wow.
I was just sat there.
Really
like,
hit you,
yeah. I think the fact was she just said she was so blasé about it.
Yeah.
And you can sort of say like about the girl, like, what a bitch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's just maybe her.
I guess also you were questioning it before, right?
Yes,
you always felt like, oh, what? Like there's just something not.
Yeah.
That I just can't. There's something missing here.
Yeah, there's something missing.
And then you went out, put some graft in, some solid graft.
Solid.
Thought, I'm onto a winner here. And then bam, you get hit with that.
Yeah.
I suppose those two things combined, you were thinking, okay, let's just try something.
Yeah, let's just try. And literally the next morning, I went on the Google and I'd sort of seen the company that I'd had pop up before.
Yeah.
Seen it before. It's local to me, and it says free consult. And I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna book a consultation. I'm gonna see how. In my head, I was getting a hair transplant. I was gonna spend thousands of pounds, and I was just gonna get one and just go for it. And it wasn't till I had the consultation with the guy, met the guy, and he straight away is like, it was funny. I walked into the room and I always remember he was like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
I thought it's to get my teeth. It's to get my teeth whitened. Why do you think I'm here? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he looked at my hair and he was like, "Paul, you're really far gone. And again, if you do the research into the hair transplant, you've got to have quite a lot of, to be successful.
The donor area.
You've got to have a good donor. Your donor hair is not good. The only thing for you is a hair. He said a non-surgical hairpiece.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I just literally went, a fucking wig.
Yeah.
Like I was fuming at the fact that he sort of recommended a wig to me.
Because let's be honest, wig. My grandfather had a wig, and that's the first thought. You think, old man, toupee,
That's exactly what you think.
Yeah.
And I always remember when I told my dad that I was getting a hair system, and he's went, "A fucking wig," like he's a cutting. He's like, "You gotta be joking! Oh, you're not a syrup and all this like." And it was thing. But going back to the consultation, and I was saying a wig, and he went "I've got one on."
Oh, really?
And it shot me down immediately. And I straight away, I'm like this, like looking to see the flaws, because I'd spent a good 20 minutes with this guy.
Yeah. And no clue.
No clue. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I was looking at his going like, something not quite. I had no clue whatsoever. And I'm like touching it and feeling it. And I was sold.
Yeah.
and obviously went from there.
And then you had to grow your hair out for a bit, right?
Yeah, so this is what I would class as the painstaking
Yeah.
area. Maybe go and hide away for a little bit.
Because you had in the video, you got that hat on.
Yeah.
And you sort of pull it off.
Yeah. Obviously, depend on how far you've gone or something like me. I've got the typical horseshoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I can grow it. And again, with being blonde, the tufty bits in the middle look, it's not a good look.
No.
And again, when I would take the picture of like which looks better, that's a bad example because when the hair's grown out, you do look, I look like
You do, yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't look good. And,
no.
And even when I was,
it's very different to the shaved head.
It's very different to the shaved head. I would always just no guard it, you know what I mean? And that's it. And it was that. And there was times where I was at the mirror and I just wanted to, because I used to like, you'd trim your bit. I just wanted to go over it. And it depends on how long your hair takes to grow. And it was 3 months worth of like, I'd say the first sort of 6 to 8 weeks are not bad. Do you know what I mean? And some people would say, no, it looks quite good with it just growing out a little bit.
Yeah.
But then
real horseshoe.
The real horseshoe. It was like I would not go out. I went to a restaurant with a cap on. My dad's like, take that off. I'm like, I am not taking this cap off.
Yeah.
And that is the sort of, I think if you can just get over that, you're fine.
You're fine. Do you think that having had the shaved head for a long time and really just coming to terms with it, being able to accept it, helped you give you that confidence to then really just go be all out with the hair system? What is it that gives you that confidence that you're able to sit here now, talk about it openly? You did the whole Snapchat because there's guys that'll be listening and
I think for me, I'm quite a confident person anyway. Sometimes like it's been put on first date, I'm not confident in how I look sometimes. And even when I had the shaved head, because I was like, again, when I've had the shaved head, I've got a shaved head. This is me. I've got her system. This is me. And I think for me, as getting a positive feedback, I kind of want to relay that to anyone if you're struggling in that sense. Do you know what I mean? And again, I think it's good how, you know what I mean, you push your shaved head, and because it does work. It works for people. It works for my friends. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'd be selling her systems to absolutely everyone. But it doesn't work for absolutely everybody.
No.
And it depends on how your feeling mechanism is. If you shy away from things, you will struggle a lot more.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I suppose you must have found that as well with your interactions with people asking for advice on the hair loss, right? There's definitely two very different types of people.
Yes,
with the hair loss. When
100%. Yeah,
there's those who are already got the idea that maybe I just have to accept this, and on the other side, there's guys who will just do anything to not accept it. Like, this can't be happening to me. There has to be a way to like get my hair back. And we both know there just isn't. There isn't that magical cure.
No.
Right? There's definitely. The thing is, it's like I say, there's different ways to accept it, but we've had to accept it in the same way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has to accept when that first strand goes. When you're in the under the light and you're like, why can I see my scalp? Or the pictures. When someone snaps a picture.
Yeah.
We both know that there's only one way that's going.
And I think that stage is probably the worst.
Yeah.
Because you're forever looking. You're forever looking at how how is this going to get better? Like, you know what I mean? And it doesn't.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You're constantly looking at her going like, oh, is it me? Is it me? Like, and it's just going further.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I mean? And that process is just going further and further and you're hanging on, and you're getting worked up about the fact it's coming, and you think, you're panicking, and I think that's a stage where I think you're kind of most vulnerable to sort of like the feelings of being down. Because you look, I think as well, you look at everybody else, or it feels like you're looking at everybody else your age, especially for me, losing it so young, like no one else is bald in my year. Like, why am I going? And do you know what I mean? It will catch up with, is it a third of men?
Yeah.
It will catch up with you at some point.
By age 50%.
Yeah. It will catch up to you, but it's that little bit where I think you've got to stay positive and stay strong and realize there is either an answer of, committing and just, nailing it, or doing something about it that, you know what I mean,
fits you.
Fits you.
Yeah. And it's like, I suppose the point I was trying to make there as well is, you'd end up with at the end of the day, there's options for the look that you want, I think, right? There's no cure for male pattern baldness, but there are options for how you want to end up with the look specifically. So right, another reason why I wanted to get you on here, we talked a little bit about the positivity. So on your Instagram, I looked at a post and it said, it was relating back to the first dates. Yeah. Of course, I made that video about you a good while ago now. Yeah. And that was when I said, you know what, if you're going to rock a hair system, this is absolutely how to do it. And I was pleased because I'd seen, the Snapchat. I obviously knew how happy you were with it then. And it was good to see you. What I'm trying to say is I knew that wasn't just a persona for the TV. I knew you genuinely was someone who rocked it, was open about it, positive, to help other people and, in a way just to be happy with it yourself. So TV for you was obviously something that you wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Just tell me more about that. I mean, you said 10 years you've been applying for different things.
I remember going back when, I think it was like Big Brother 1 or 2. I don't know why, I've always had this thing of like, I just want to be on TV, like, like whether you're in your grandkids and be like, oh, have you ever been on telly? Like, yes, I have. Do you know what I mean? And I remember when Big Brother came out, I did a couple of auditions and I got quite far because of like, obviously I'm quite, I think younger as well. I was more, just a bit more bubbly character. And I still think I am. I'm very quick-witted, you know what I mean? I love the banter, do you know what I mean, as you've known. And, you know what I mean? And again, I think I went on Big Brother auditions. I went to 2 or 3. I've like applied for Take Me Out. I've applied and I have applied for First Dates previously.
Right.
And again, I'd sort of like, it was sort of there, I'm like, say, I'd do it once a year, or do you know what I mean? And again, it's just that knocking on the door. I always say, you knock on 12 doors, one's going to answer.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that I just put my thing into First Dates one day, and again, everyone was tagging me. I've been single for a long time, and people were like, get yourselves on this. And literally, I just remember getting a call like, hi, it's Charlie here from First Dates. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And he was just like, and it was a very surreal because he was like, I don't know how you feel about this. We're doing the First Dates restaurant, as you know, but we actually do one in Italy. Would you be interested? And I was like, let me think on that one. Like, yeah. So obviously I was interested, and it just snowballed from there. And
fantastic.
And boom.
And you went on, and I think a lot of people. Again, that was another clip that was popular on the show.
Yeah, it was.
With you talking about the hair system. Did that give you another little spike in people asking about it?
Yeah, so again, obviously it had died down because from the actual Lad Bible video to the actual First Date was only 8 months, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But from the First Date actually releasing it out, it was another year.
Yeah.
So there's quite, there's like over quite a long time. So again, it was like a big spike. I was like firing up the copy and pastes again.
Yeah.
And obviously, back when it first came out, I had a bit of Instagram, but Instagram wasn't as it is today. I think Instagram's like overtaking Facebook. Do you know what I mean? And
Snapchat,
Snapchat, you know what I mean, had kind of died. So people are just. There's quite a few different things now I've got to reply to.
So obviously you've done the TV stuff. That was a big goal for you. And another thing you do, of course, you got your own business, right?
Yeah.
The pie business.
The pie business.
Bowen's Pies.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people were probably surprised about.
Yeah.
Because it's like a bit with the hair system going viral. It's a little bit random. Right?
It is very random.
How long has that been going for? Is it a family business?
Yeah. So it started with me dad. My dad was a butcher. By trade, with a small pie shop, and over the years, like previous, because I joined him when I was 23, 24, and previous to that, I was into motorbike racing. I thought that was going to be my career. I used to be a mechanic because I used to be into the bikes, but I was always buying and selling stuff, a bit like a proper Del boy. Yeah. I was like buying and selling like little bits, a
wheeler dealer.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and I've always been interested in sales.
Nice. Yeah.
And we was just having, the motocross season wasn't really working for me. I wasn't never going to make it, I was working for Harley Davidson at the time, mechanicking, and although a good job, I think you can only go so far before you hit like a bit of a point.
Yeah.
And me and my dad just had a chat in the pub. He's like, I'm struggling, son. Can you maybe help us out a little bit? And I was like, I'm not enjoying work.
Give it a try.
Let's give it a go. And at the time, I took a very small, like lower than minimum wage, because just to try.
Yeah, you help with your dad, right? Family business.
Yeah, just to help him out. And on the strength that, you know, if I grew it, that we would, you know,
you'd grow with it.
Grow with it.
Yeah.
And at the time, he just closed down the butchers,
right.
because the meat trade had just gone downhill. You know, you don't hear many people now saying, "Let's go to the butchers."
No, you don't.
You know, it's just dying in the supermarkets, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, knackered that for me dad.
Yeah.
So he thought he'd have an easier life selling pies, and go from there. So when I joined my dad, we was doing, you know, 5,000, 6,000 pies a week.
Yeah.
And again, I just had a little bit of social media input. Again, just going round, going through, and then fast forward now, we're nearly producing 40,000 pies a week.
Yeah. It's because you've got a shop, right, locally here where you live.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a shop that obviously you can go in there.
Yeah,
Can you dine in, or is it?
So I've got 2 shops. I've got like the original one from Adlington.
Yeah.
Then we've just moved to Chorley. Like there's a factory there. We moved there 3 years ago. Again, because we'd outgrew
it. Yeah.
Where we was, it was like 2 terraced houses. It was very, you know, old school bakery. And now we're in you know, we've gone from 1,000 to like nearly a 7,000 square foot bakery.
Yeah.
You know, very modern with a factory shop, as you call it, like eating.
Okay.
Last year I set up Pies by Post, so we're online.
Brilliant.
And then my biggest sort of like succeed was last year. I won the contract for Man City Football Club.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
So you supply.
So I supply
on a Saturday.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic.
So Man City. They have our pies.
So if you're a Man City fan, and you're eating your pies, you know. Bowen's
pies. Yeah. This is it.
Fantastic. Something that really interests me, I say to a lot of people when they're going through something tough like hair loss, you know, I say, once you recognize what it is, right, you know, okay, my hair's falling out, I've got to deal with this, you know what it is, and you've accepted it, one of the best ways to get through it is to have goals, right? Whether it's finances, friends, relationships, and obviously business.
Yeah.
Do you think all this stuff going on, you know, even from younger, your goals with the motocross and that helped you be like a positive person?
You know what? 100%. So motocross for me was like, again, it was all about that gym. You know, at the time, like, again, like I knew my hair was falling out, but it was at that stage where it was kind of finishing. And again, at motocross, you know, when I was younger, I didn't even care about girls or anything. That was my focus. When I like lost my hair and I went, you know, bald, my next stage really was my fitness.
Right.
I was hell of a lot fitter than I am now.
Yeah.
I started, you know, on the weights because I think, you know, with a bit of muscle, you look, and I would probably say going back to sort of being shaved head, I was probably a fitter person.
Right.
Like physically fitter.
Stronger, healthier.
Because I was like, I haven't got my hair. I've got my body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'll take my top off and girls will go wild. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they didn't. And then going after that, I was like, you know, I started, as the business started to really grow, I got my teeth into it. And again, it's something that you sort of like focus on and attach on.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think that's good advice for anyone listening or watching, you know. Just attach yourself to something. Find something you really want to achieve, and because you're spending. I mean, you told me that you're doing at least 12-hour days.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, most days. Yeah.
And you got no time to be worrying about hair. You got no time to be worrying about this stuff because you got more important things to be worrying about. Doing.
Yeah.
You know?
That is true. Do you know what I mean? You haven't. If you push yourself out there, you won't have time for the little worries.
Yeah.
And again, my dad always said to me like his expression is, there's always someone worse for you.
Yeah.
You can't help anyone that can't help himself. And he's as harsh as it is, there's actually a lot of truth in there. If you sit there and worry about your hair and don't go out and don't do the things that you would usually do or focus on, you will go worse.
Yeah.
And the only way to sort of get back up there is to really do focus on, you know, like I said, my advice to you and you were losing your hair and going towards the shave look is shave it off and go to the gym.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And focus on getting a new 6-pack or focus on it, and it will come.
Yeah.
Because you'll push it harder because you mentally you're pushing.
Yeah, you're charged for it. You're up for it. And no, you're right. You know, that tough advice is something that I try to deliver, but I deliver it in a way that's accessible to everyone because I don't want to turn people off by just saying, just got to get on with it. You know, because there's an element of like you have to communicate it in a way that people say like, oh, he's got a point, you know. And I think you said it well there. Like, ultimately, there comes a point where if you are just feeling so bad about it every day, and all you're doing is just dwelling on it and just feeling sorry for yourself and feeling bad for the situation. I accept that you have to do that. I did it. I'm sure you did it. You go through that, but there comes a point where you have to say enough. Enough of this. I've got to get past this, and that's the only way to get past it. You have to just nip it in the bud eventually.
You're right as well. Obviously, it sounds very sort of harsh and straight from what I've said, but that's because I've come out the other side of the tunnel. Like you've come out the other side. In that time, I ain't gonna lie to you. I've cried. I've been crying. I've been upset. I have been that person that I'm on about of not to do.
Yeah.
But it's only from my experience from getting out the tunnel that I know where I went wrong in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think, again, it's easy to say when you've come out the other side, or when you know what I mean. I'm not gonna lie. I've had depression. I have had the tears. And I've struggled with it. But you only know how to improve when you've seen looking back at yourself, and I can probably speak to a lot of people and relate. There'll be people that have spoken to me and been really upset and been really sort of down about it, and I ain't gonna say, mate, man up, because I've been there. I mean, it's easy to say at that side, like, focus on something, man up, but I know it's not a 2 seconds fix. It's not a like 2 sentences. Oh, actually, cheers, Paul. I'm all right now. I'll go. Do you know what I mean? It does take a while.
And I think the take-home message of what you said there, though, is if anyone is watching this or listening to it, you can see us here now, and just all you have to do is realise that it doesn't last forever. There is a way out of the tunnel. You can get over that hill, and on the other side, however you choose to, whatever look you want, let's say at the end of it, know that you can be happy on the other side of hair loss. Yeah. It seems like you can't. You said there was tears. I had the same thing. You think, how am I ever going to get through this? But you can see us here now and all the people that we talk to in that, and just know that you really can get past it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Paul, we talked about the pies there. We're going to try something new, a little segment here, right? What we're going to do, we've got a game here. I don't want you to look just yet. I don't want you to look just yet. But we're going to play a game here called The Price of Pies, okay? The Price of Pies. Here we are. You can look. Here we are. What we got here, Paul, is we've got some pies, and I want you to guess the price.
Okay.
Right? But then we're going to go higher or lower. Okay. Right. Is the next pie along? Is it higher or lower? Okay. Here we go. Right. We're straight in here with an ASDA Smart Price.
That's muck that.
4 minced beef and onion pies. Your opinion on this, obviously low.
Yeah.
This not quality.
No.
We got four minced beef pies. Give me a price for these. What do you think these are selling for at the moment?
As around, they've got to be 50p a pie.
Right.
50p
so
for £4, £2. I'm going to say.
£2. The price for these, Paul, in Asda, £1.
Oh,
cheap.
It's cheap. It frustrates me when I see this because it educates people to think a pie should be,
cheap and nasty.
25p.
Yeah.
What's funny is like the packaging and the foil I know alone can cost you around 10p, 20p. So when you think
what's in it.
Think what's in it, because I always try and educate people, like, go to the butchers, because this is obviously, we put high quality meat in. Yeah. Go and buy the meat that you supply and see how much it is.
Yeah. Let's go for the next one, Paul. We've got an Asda steak and gravy puff pastry. I should have put some higher quality.
Yeah, you're killing me, yeah.
But it's good. This is a good advert for Bowen's Pies.
Oh, yeah, go.
Right. Are we saying higher or lower? This is one pie.
Is this one pie?
Price higher or lower than the 4 mince?
If it's steak, it should be higher because it's before they've put mince in it, so they've put muck in it. I'm hoping they've put actual chunks of gravy. So
we're saying higher.
Yeah, I'm going to say 150.
It's only 75p, Paul. You're 75p for this. Let's go for the next one. We got Fray Bentos.
It's getting worse.
Just chicken. Is this lowest of the low? I mean, we don't want to call anyone out here. We don't want to throw shade, but is this... I recognise these.
Yeah, so
stick them in the oven. Job done.
I've never actually had one.
Right.
Again, look at the chicken won't be British chicken. So this is all I'll say.
Just chicken.
I'm
is
sure
higher or lower than?
They've got to be higher. I'm sure they're about 120.
£1.
£1. There we go.
£1. We're higher. You're right with that one. Let's go for the next one. Asda again. Chicken and gravy. This is short
crust, yeah.
Short crust.
Short crust. This is how a pie should be, not pastry. Puff. Puff.
Right.
Puff is. I'm sorry, you're a southerner. You've done it all wrong.
Fluff.
Yeah.
Short crust pastry pie, chicken and gravy. This one, what are you saying? Higher or lower than £1?
That's got to be, again, it's a bigger pie. I've got to say higher.
It's gone higher. Let's check it out. Yes.
Yes, finally.
£2.30. This is more like
this.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is
it.
Yeah.
Last one on the list. We've actually got a vegetarian option. I just thought I'd throw it in there just in case. This is spiced cauliflower and chickpea open-topped. What are we saying? Higher or lower than the last one?
See, I want to say higher because the vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free market, it's smaller, so they have to pay for it more.
You're saying higher?
I'm going to say higher.
Let's see where we're at with this one. It's only £1.60.
I've done terrible at my own game here.
I think it's only £1.60, but you mentioned the quality there in the Bowen's pies. If anyone's about, we'll put the link in the description for your pie in the post.
Pies by post. So
pies by post.
Literally bake them, chill them down, send them off within 24 hours. You have a pie.
Brilliant. Is it nationwide?
Nationwide, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so from Scotland down to Bournemouth. I don't know what's at the bottom.
Bournemouth, Southampton.
Yeah, Southampton.
Yeah, right. At the bottom.
down at the bottom.
Go anywhere.
Go anywhere.
Good stuff. Well, listen, Paul. To finish off, let's take it back to the hair loss stuff, right? People watching, listening, and you've obviously had quite a lot of experience with this hair loss. You've started young. You rock the shaved head. Now you've got the hair system. We talked a little bit about advice, but what is going to be your main advice? If you can sum it up for in a couple of maybe a step-by-step or the first place to start with anyone if they're struggling with the hair.
If you're struggling with the hair, realise that the options that you can go down. So go from the top. So you can either, because there's plus and negative to every single one of them. So if you're going to go for the shaved head, think, you know what I mean? Or my suggestion would be try the shaved head.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The little hair that you have got will grow back. So you can go to the hair system or hair transplant. So try that. Look at the other options.
Oh, so when you say start at the bottom, just start with the easy. Start with the most simple.
Start with the most simple.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like look at it. Go for me. It's like, right, I'm losing my hair. What are my options?
Yeah.
And for me, there's 4. So there's the shaved head. You know, do it. Can I do it? Will I be confident? You know what I mean? Have a look at that.
Yeah.
I think the other one we've not really touched on is the tattoo. You know,
the SMP.
The SMP. If you like the shaved head and you just want that little SMP, but for me, it's not really sold for me.
Yeah.
Again, I think you've got to have that kind of look, but by all means, go and look at it. Maybe look at my option, which is the hair system, and think, can I do this? Would I be comfortable wearing one? Go from that. If you are on the hair transplant side and you think, I've got quite a bit of money, I'm confident in where I'm going to go, research on the best ones you can go for.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
And look at them options and then sort of choose from there and look at the end goal of like, what's going to make me happiest.
Yeah.
And that sort of and
so try to think of it long term, and when you make that decision, you've got to almost take the emotions out of it.
Yeah,
because you don't want to make any sort of panic decisions.
No,
I feel
no, yeah.
Where you almost like you did, you rocked the shaved head and that for a long time.
Yeah.
So you'd already sort of come to terms with it before you went with the hair system. For me, I think in terms of your story, I think that must have really helped because you'd sort of dealt with it. You dealt with it, and this is just like a little cherry on top.
Yeah.
It's
literally.
like a little add-on.
But again, it's how you sort of think of it. It's the fact that people say to me like, oh, I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is it about the hair loss? I said, it's not the fact that I'm bald or whatever. It's the fact that I can't have it. It's the fact that
no choice.
So, you know what I mean? Probably if I had my own hair, there'd probably be a few weeks where I would just shave it off.
Yeah.
And rock the shaved off look. It's the fact that you don't have that option.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of...
Yeah, you don't have the option. You don't have the control. That was a big one for me.
Yeah.
It's not a choice, right? It's happening to you.
Yeah.
You're not choosing it to happen. It's happening to you. There's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah.
I think for a young guy, right, as a young man, you want to be in control, right? You want to be able to control what's happening in your life. And when this thing comes along, you're like, "What? Hang on a minute. This isn't how it's supposed to go."
Yeah.
And I think, even if you take the aesthetics out of it, the look of it, just that fact that you don't have control mentally, I think is tough to deal with.
It's tough. Yeah. Like I would 100% agree with that.
So look at the options, right? Try to think of it from a longevity thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What can you stick
Look
with?
at the end goal. Don't think short term. Like what's going to fix it now? Because all the options in my eyes take quite a while to sort of figure out. Obviously the shaved head is instant. that you know that happens.
But it takes a bit while to get used to it.
It does.
People.
And sort of going back to my first time when I shaved my head, the actual like I got a bit of a buzz. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was like,
buzzing, literally buzzing.
Do you know what I mean? And it is a good experience. And like you said, I've rocked it for many years. So it's it's not something that's bad. And I think most people will rock a shaved head if that's what you want to do.
And I think there's one last thing I want to touch on. Just we mentioned it earlier about whatever you decide to do, go at it with no apologies, just you do you. And when everyone asks you about it, be truthful. Don't hide away from what you're doing.
Definitely. Do you know what I mean? I'll always people say how do you tell girls on dates? I'll be like, it'd be one of the first things I say.
Yeah, this is not my real hair.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They'll be like, you know what I mean? Or I'll make a little, like you've seen in first dates. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, it's not real. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'll make a joke.
Or would you be like, oh, what do you think of my hair? Like, and you'd be like, oh, yeah, it's nice, it's good. It's not real.
It's not real.
Like, what?
And that's what I mean. And again, it's a good chat line as well.
Yeah, good conversation starter.
Good conversation starter. And you'd be surprised. Like, even my mates forget that I've got one on because they're just so used to it. Within a few minutes of talking to girls get used to it. And again, if you've got the shaved head, just...
I think just really quickly as well with the relationships, because for lads that's a big worry. The girl, what are people going to think of this, right? With the bald or the fake hair or whatever you want to call it, right? I've had a hair transplant. Are they going to see the scars? SMP. I think if you can have that confidence in yourself as well to be open and honest about it, I think that's a really attractive thing. You know? I think people, girls or whoever, if they can see that person in front of them or that they're on a date with is just fully confident in themselves, not in an arrogant way, but just this is who I am.
You're 100% true. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I had a shaved head, I had some hot girlfriends. Do you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? And if I look back at it, I think I kind of looked bad because these were really good. These were really
doing
good.
Well,
These were I was punching. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And I still punch to this day, like my girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can vouch.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So. Again, when I look back at it, the most times I got a girl was when I was confident.
Yeah.
Not what clothes I wore, not what I had on, not what I dressed like. I'd just be like, hey, I'm Paul. Do you know what I mean?
This is me.
And this is me. And be you. Be, as hard as it is to be confident, I think the confidence is what will, get you where you want to be.
Get you where you want to be. I couldn't agree more. Paul. It's been a pleasure, man.
Cheers,
thank
mate.
you so much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Been looking forward to this for a long time. Guys, I want to thank you so much for listening, for watching. All of Paul's stuff is going to be all in the description, especially the pies. I'm going to have to get my hands on some of those. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching and for listening. You're over here. We will see you very soon again for another episode of the Baldcafe podcast. We'll see you then. Hang on a minute. This is actually the Baldcafe podcast.
Insane.
Sweet.